You all know what TDD is, right? And you know it because you do it all the time, because it's the right thing to do, right? TDDA is test-driven data analysis. So I want to point out some ideas on how to get better testing into your data science projects. And many of the ideas that I will be talking about here are actually borrowed from a guy called Nick Radcliffe. He has a company called Stochastic Solutions somewhere up in the UK. And he also has a website on it, and he has a Python package that I'm very much like to use. One half of the Python package deals with what he calls reference tests. That's more like your regular unit test. So you have your like data science, data processing tasks, and you have test input and output data, and you test that everything works as you want it to work. What I use more is consistency checks, because these are checks that you can run inside your pipeline on all the data that comes through, because you can write all the unit tests you want. You will never be able to test against all possible data that can be thrown at your pipeline, especially if you're kind of merging data sources, aggregating, doing complex modeling, and so on. So in my work, I have to aggregate data from many different data sources and do like these beautiful Luigi pipeline processing things on them. The green bubbles here are like the raw data sources. The yellow boxes are more like the regular data processing tasks. And now you see that almost all the input and processing tasks have an associated test task that does consistency checks. And also a downstream task doesn't reference the processing task but the respective test. So if the test doesn't run, the processing doesn't continue. Now, what do these tasks do? They do consistency checks, like, is my data the right type? Is, I don't know, my year between 1990 and 2019. If I have a string representing a city, it cannot be shorter than maybe 3 letters. Is Ulm, is there anything shorter in Germany? I don't think so. And it also, or for example, it can test for allowed values. So if I have a field representing gender, it may take only one of 3 values. What I also find really cool is there is functions to guess regexps for example, testing that zip codes are strings, but they are always 5 digits long, and each digit is a number. And the library helps you with managing the tests and running them, but also with coming up with the tests themselves, because they have something like automatic constraint generation. So if you feed in a data set, it will try to find kind of the tightest reasonable constraints on your data. And you can later use that as kind of to run these consistency checks, but you can also learn a lot about your data, because if you think one of your data fields is unique and the constraint generator doesn't add the constraint unique, then something's wrong. So I can very much recommend looking into this, because it really can make the difference between like success and failure for your data processing projects. If you are interested in this topic, want to chat more about it, come find me. Thanks very much.